Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and welcome to another inibuilds A350 trip. Today we're in Helsinki and we're going to fly over to Amsterdam. Departing Helsinki, we are going to do cold weather operations as it is just about 0 degrees with rather limited visibility outside, so we certainly have visible moisture with temperatures below plus 10 degrees. So let's get into this, and most importantly, let's get into this airplane since it is a little bit cold outside here. So starting with the safety inspection, things are as standard and as you have learned in the type rating videos. From there though, things are gonna go a little bit different in that once we do have electrical power applied, we will give the aircraft a little while at first to start getting ready. We can make good use of that time by going down here in the ground menu and telling GSX to operate the jetway already, to start connecting. And then as our aircraft starts to boot up, we are going to do things a little bit different. So the window and probe heat is going to come on to prevent or to melt any icing that might have formed over the night as the airplane's been standing here in Helsinki. Now when that's done, we are going to check the status of our batteries, so turn them off, check the voltage up here, make sure it's above 25 for the batteries we've got installed in this aircraft, and then we can turn them back on again. Now, from here on, initially we are going to do our aircraft acceptance. For that we've just got to wait until the flight warning computers have initialized, but in the meantime we can already put the ADRs on, and we can check the brightness of our flight deck. So I'm going to dim our displays a little bit here, and I'll also turn the intake lights down a bit since it is bright daylight already. Now with that out of the way, we do have initialized warning computers. So let's do the recall here for 3 seconds, like this. Come on. So 3 seconds, this should bring up the status page here. But alright, we'll just keep it at that. The dispatch page isn't simulated just yet, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and run the fire tests so that we can turn on our APU. So the APU is starting, and we are going to put it on for air conditioning pretty soon. But let's just take a quick look here. Temperatures inside around 13 degrees, so you can see even though it's rather cold outside, it's not necessarily getting that cold inside so quickly. But of course, with the jetway now connected and one of the doors now opened, things will get cold rather quickly. So let's go ahead and get going. I am going to open the door manually, by the way, since GSX didn't do that automatically. So please go open. So things are going to get a little bit cooler inside the aircraft here momentarily. Alright, that much out of the way though, let's go ahead and continue. APU is almost available. While we're still waiting for it though, let's go ahead and do the rest of our acceptance. So A350-900 with the Trent engines and a current enough database, and going over into the EFB. On the flight up status page we can import our Wintery Flight plan. That's looking good. Finnair 47 uniform. Then we can import our load sheet, and we can have a look at the operational flight plan. Now for that one, let's quickly go all the way down to the weather chart so that you guys can see what we're going to be up to. In general, we are departing Helsinki more or less a straight line over to Amsterdam with a jet stream coming from the tail, shortening down our flight time, which we can nicely see down here on the wind charts as well. So that much out of the way, let's go a little bit further up into the local weather information. And here it is. So Helsinki, as you can see, snow every now and then, but apart from that, okay-ish weather conditions. Our destination Amsterdam has northerly winds today, making runway 06 the active runway, and then down here in Eindhoven we have good weather conditions forecast. Looking at the top, 06:15 is the schedule, and we arrive at 08:27 with the schedule at 08:55. So even if we depart a little bit delayed, I don't really see much reason to take any extra fuel here. So let's go down into the fuel section. 14 tons plus 400 taxi. Let's make it a little bit more taxi since we'll probably have to de-ice the aircraft. So let's just call it 15 tons. That's 1000 kilos taxi fuel then. The A350 has that unfortunate problem that turning on the engine anti-ice increases fuel flow by about 300 kilos an hour. So you really got to take that into consideration when you're doing cold weather operations, since the aircraft burns a lot more fuel then. Okay, so fuel load down here, 15,000 kilos, and then we can set the zero fuel weight and set the fuel amount. Well, let's go into the performance, synchronize sim brief, synchronize the current weather, runway condition, let's take it wet, engine anti-ice on, and packs off. We'll slightly up the takeoff weight here, let's make it 185, and compute. Unable to find safe performance data, performance limited, yeah, I doubt it. Let's see 185.0. No. Well, there's got to be some bugs involved there. There's definitely got to be some bugs involved. Let's see. If we just go synchronize here again, does that? No. Actually tells me you can't depart. Interesting. Most definitely not correct, though. So apparently it can do a flaps 2 takeoff at 205.8. I kinda doubt that that is realistic. I really doubt it. But if it tells me we gotta do that, then we are gonna do that. Just for the sake of the fun of it. For the terminal charts, departing Helsinki, we can take the parking chart. Over here, that one. Then we can take the ground chart. And we are departing runway 33 today for noise abatement reasons. Actually, I gotta correct myself. We are departing runway 15 today. That's it. And here we go. And if we are departing 15, we probably should select that down here as well. So let's calculate that again. Look at that. Over here we've got quite a bit more margin. Let's try a config 1+F takeoff again then. Compute. Okay, no problems. Alright. I'm not gonna ask any questions, we'll just accept it the way it is. Probably the best we can do over here. Okay, so that's done. APU bleed coming on, we've started the boarding already, and external 1 can go offline again. So then, we do have sufficient oxygen, rain repellent is looking good, the hydraulic quantities are okay, and the engine oil quantities are okay as well. Perfect. Alright, so let's turn those back off again. And here we go. So, flaps up, spoilers retracted, all of that matches, and that's it. Okay, so our aircraft is accepted for service. Then let's go ahead and actually prepare everything for today's flight. Oh, was meant to turn on the main pump first, I misclicked. So don't get yourself an unfortunate example there. Alright, so latest weather QNH 1022, so let's be sure to select that. And then we can just tune the radios down here. And that's everything looking wonderful. 1228 since we don't have ATC available at the moment, and then 1 to 1.5 for the guard frequency like that. Okay, so that's set, and then on the other end side, of course, our FO wants to listen to something as well. So let's give him some radios as well, like that. Transponder code down here. Wonderful. So that's our flight deck setup complete. Then let's get right into the FMS. We already know that we're an A350. We have checked that. So let's go down to the init page and do a company flight plan request down there. Might take a little while until that's available. In the meantime, we can open the SimBrief app over here and get the OFP visible right next to our FMS, which makes the entry a little bit easier. Alright, so insert the company flight plan, please. And then we can compare. Finnair 47 uniform, Helsinki to Amsterdam, alternate in Eindhoven. Cruise flight level 400, then let's see about the temperatures. We're looking at minus 68 degrees, wow, really cool up there. So that's minus 68. And the tropopause today is in flight level 390. Like that. Alright, the rest is looking good. Then we can do the wind request. Airport not in database. I kinda doubt that. But we'll have a look in a moment now. So the IRSs are almost available. For the departure then, Helsinki, runway 15. And we are departing towards Nanto. So let's find that one in the list. Nanto for Delta. Temporary and insert. Now for Amsterdam, arrival runway will be 06 with an ILS approach. The star is the Eelde 1 Alpha, and then we'll take an RTIP transition. Just any one down here, we can still correct that in flight. Alright, so far so good. Then, whoopsie, it starts lagging a little bit here. Let's have a look at the star next. So, terminal that click spot is not placed very well. Close that up, please. Alright, so we go straight out to 600 feet, right turn, Hotel Kilo 921, maximum 220 knots, which we can check on the ND down here. And then we proceed towards Ripvi to 50 knots and then towards Nanto. And there is no further restriction on Nanto, so easy going down here. Okay, so with that, the SID is entered. Then let's go down onto the nav aids, where we just check that there is nothing manually tuned from the previous flight. And then fuel and load. Let's take it from the load sheet. So we have 168.5 and 29.7. So 168.5 and 29.7. Block fuel is 15 tons, which we do have on board. Passengers are 257 today, so not all that much. Taxi fuel 0.6 is okay. Let's see about the alternate and the final. 2 and 2.2. So let's go in here, alternate fuel. Well, final 2.2, and the alternate should be 2.0. Like that. Okay, perfect. So that stuff is in here. Then let's go into return and takeoff performance, which we can simply send to the FMS like this and confirm. Why did it go for Toga? Does it really not have a flex temperature? Yeah, it looks like it. Thrust Toga. Okay, so be it. So, packs off are supplied by APU and engine anti-ice will be on. Transition altitude 5000. Let's see if that is correct. Which it is. Alright, perfect. So that stuff is in, and on the climb panel, auto derate is selected. Then let's go down to the position monitor. And we want EFHK15 in here. That's that. Alright, back to the flight plan. We don't need to enter any step climbs today, so all we gotta do is to go to the fix info, and we are going to enter our departure runway 15, and then enter the extended center line, which is on a 143 track. So radial 143, enter, and here we go, and then on to the secondary flight plan, import the active. And over here we are going to enter the engine out SID, which is straight out for 25 miles. So let's insert the next waypoint, EFHK15/143/25 miles, and enter. Alright, we are going to pick up a holding over here, so let's enter that as well. Holding 142, right turns, and we need 1 minute lag time, enter. Alright, and now after that, let's do a new destination, back to Helsinki. Here we go. Yeah, you should have been deleted, my friend. Like that, and then arrival, runway 22 left with an ILS approach. And here we go, so that's the secondary flight plan entered. Now, let's go on to secondary number 2, and this one is just going to become a copy of the active. Alright. So, last but not least, we check ADSC is connected, message record, all messages erased. then we can download and uplink the weather data, even though we basically have our weather available already, so that's not going to be too much of an issue. Alright, thank you very much. ATIS is received. So, the initial climb today is 5,000. Now here's gonna be something interesting. Since we are at a very light weight and since we are forced to do a toga takeoff for performance reasons, we will actually have to run a little bit non-standard departure procedure, but I'll brief that within the crew briefing in a few moments. But just so that you are aware already. Okay, so that's all our setup done, so let's go ahead and do the briefing. And this will start on the FO seat, since the FO is going to be pilot monitoring today. Okay, so we are going to depart on the Helsinki runway 15. Our SID is the Nunta for Delta departure. Initial climb 5,000 and the MSA on this one, let's just get the chart, is 2,300. Cold temperature correction applied, we add 230 feet, so MSA 2,600 today, please. Extra fuel and time, let's have another quick look down here. Init, fuel and load. Tells me minus 0.9, but I don't believe that. I think we're going to be more than fine. Okay, so that's it for the time being. Then let's continue the briefing. Thank you. So hotspots crossing runway 22 left, which is the active landing runway. Rather bad visibility, so we have a good look at the T-cars when we're crossing and ensure that we remember turning the strobe light on. Stop margin in case of reject the takeoff is not calculated anymore. Unfortunately, hopefully they'll add that soon again. Yeah, in case an immediate re-landing is required, we are able to return to Helsinki. 22 left is in the secondary flight plan. Special operations. So, a couple of things over here. First of all, we're going to do anti-icing right at the runway. For that, we'll run it straight out of the AFCOM so that you guys can also see what's going on there. The other special operation I have is a toga takeoff at a very low gross weight. For that, there's actually procedure in the AFCOM that allows us to reduce our thrust to climb thrust at 400 feet in the climb. And when we do that, we must not start the acceleration until the acceleration altitude, but that's just to get some of the thrust out, since the aircraft is going to climb rapidly. I don't have any non-standards over here. Threats for the departure? Well, we mitigated against the altitude bust due to the toga takeoff. Anti-icing is a bit of a threat as well, so let's make sure that we follow everything on the books carefully. Well, and that's really it. Nothing miscellaneous, so that's our departure briefing complete. Before start, checklist to the line, please. Gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity 15,000 kilograms balanced. Takeoff data set. Barrow reference QNH 1022. Before start, checklist completed down to the line. Alright, so by this time the boarding should be completed. The temperature is 0 degrees still, so I think definitely is the issue of the day. Well, what are we gonna do? Let's get GSX to prepare the position for pushback and departure, please. Handling by Finnair. Then, do you want to request the de-icing treatment? Yeah, not here. We'll do that at the runway. Okay, so they can remove all the ground equipment. The park and brake is set, as we can conveniently see right on the primary flight display down here. So everything is closing up, and then I suggest we do the before start procedures. Let's just have one quick look at the weights. So we are now at 168.5 plus 15, so that's 183.5. For the takeoff performance, that's what we calculated. Let's synchronize the weather here to ensure we still have the latest. Runway 15, full length. Okay, compute. And that's looking good. Alright, so config 1 plus F, 29.9, and the speeds 134, 138, 150. All of that good stuff is in with a full toga takeoff, engine anti-ice, packs off or supplied by APU. Okay, well, engine out, acceleration, let's tune that to 1500 above the ground, so 1700, and that's it. Okay, so far so good. Then let's prepare for our pushback. Okay, before start checklist, below the line please. Doors. And these should have been armed by now. Let's arm them manually. Okay, closed, and park and brake set. Before start checklist complete. Okay. Ground from cockpit. Go ahead. Please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. Alright, we can confirm all that, Captain, and we are ready to push. Let us know when you are ready. Okay, thanks. We'll go northeast on Alpha Tango, and the park and brake is now released. Thanks, northeast Alpha Tango, and you're clear to start the engines at your discretion. Thank you. We'll call you when we're starting. Roger. Alright then, off we go. So, they're starting the safety demo right now. Excellent. I'm just wondering why my en route chart isn't working, but, well, let's not worry about that. We'll just take the standard charts from down here. Alright. Ground flight, starting engines 1 and 2 in sequence. Roger. So, as always, 10 seconds between powering the FADEX and actually conducting the engine start. Here we go. Engine 1 start. Okay, looks like number 1 is starting up well. Pushback over here is looking pretty good as well. Don't need that chrono anymore. We have a good start on engine number 1, starting engine number 2. Clear 2. So let's just wait until we really have a good start. And here we go. Alright, engine 2 start. So pushback is complete, set your brakes please. Park and brake set. Okay, they're doing their job down there. The aircraft has 2 good engine starts. Clear to disconnect. Clear sign on the right, please, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Never turn on the wing anti-ice if you intend to de-ice the aircraft. And we are not going to run any of the actions down here until the de-icing is complete. Okay, no after start checklist until de-icing is complete. So therefore, all we are waiting for is the clear signal, which is received right down there. So let's go for taxi. By the way, this is a perfect example of why the ramp agent shouldn't stand there giving the clear signal, but there, behind the line. Because now we can immediately start a taxi, and when I turn on that nose light, I guarantee that lady would be walking a tad faster. Alright, so for the taxi procedures itself, let's have a look at the ground chart. We're standing down here, and our taxi is going to lead us straight ahead via Alpha Hotel onto the main taxiway, and then Zulu Golf up here to the de-icing pad. Okay. And with that in mind, park and brake released, clear right side, clear left side, let's go. So brake check. Brakes okay. A little bit of thrust to get it moving. Visibility really isn't that good today. That's maybe some 500 or 600 meters, I would guesstimate. But we'll get there. With all this lovely equipment we've got available over here, it'll become difficult to mess up the taxi. Nonetheless, I'm not a huge fan of those people saying like, yeah, this is no more aviation, this is just computers. That's not real piloting. Just had a recent comment on one of my YouTube videos saying, yeah, anything newer than the DC-6 isn't real piloting. I had a good laugh at that, because obviously that gentleman just proved that he doesn't really know what real piloting is. Fully apart from the fact that anything that earns you money, flying an airplane, is probably real piloting. In any case, let's not get into that discussion too much. So we'll turn the next to the left, since we are over here right now. So next left is going to be Zulu Golf, and that's where we're going to cross the runway, and then make our way towards the de-icing pad. You can see the airplane is really accelerating quite harshly. Anti-ice on the ground just is a sure performance boost. Let's just call it that way. You can also see a little bit of ice on those taxiway over here, and on most others as well, so we are going to do things slowly here. You can see going through the turn at 8 knots. I don't want to go below 5, but don't want to risk getting above 10 here. Okay, so we're clear on the right side, we're clear on the left side, and there is nothing on the TCAS over here. So with that, crossing runway 22 left. So while we're taxiing to the holding point, this one up here is the de-icing pad. That's apparently on some inset on the chart. Let's try and find that. Here it is. So we're probably going to go to 604 over here for the de-icing. Let's see if we can select that in GSX. So a de-icing service, and we are going to go to 604 we said. And I don't care if you think it's too small, we are going to go there anyway. Okay, we're clear of the runway, so strobe lights back in auto. GSX services are ordered, so let's go right back to our taxi charts. And we've got de-icing bay 604, which is the first one when we're entering Golf Charlie down there. So we just went around the corner, going across the bridge now, and the taxiway thereafter, that's going to be ours. And then 604 right over here. So let's slow it down a bit. It looks wet over there. So we'll most certainly have to consider the possibility that we might go slipping a little bit. Right, nose light is coming off. 604 is the next pad on the left-hand side. And here we go. So that's our parking guidance over there. Or at least it should be. A350, 604. Taxi forward. Are we on center line? Yes. Still wants us to taxi further forward. Slow down. And come on. A little bit more, stop. Alright, excellent. So the parking brake is set, hold, I like it. And then let's do the supplementary procedure, airframe de-icing, anti-icing procedure on the ground. So before fluid spraying, check that the doors are closed. Doors all closed. So, communication with ground personnel established. That would happen on some sort of ATC frequency, or not ATC, but on some sort of frequency over here on the radio. Then, parking brake on, and it's on. Engine bleed 1 and 2 off. So that's air, engine 1 bleed off, air, engine 2 bleed off. APU bleed off, and that's off. Ditching push button on, confirm. Ditching push button confirmed. No, not you. You. And that's on. And then a quick check that the outflow valve is indeed closing. Yeah, they are moving to the closed position down here. Excellent. So, setting the ditching push button switch to on closes the outflow valves, avionic overboard valve and both pack valves. All the cargo isolation valves, the pack ram air inlets and outlets, and the emergency ram air inlet. Alright, recommended maximum time without air conditioning is 30 minutes, and with this the aircraft is now ready for fluid spraying. So let's just get rid of any of those e-cams down there. Alright, the outflow valves are closed. Perfect. So, why are my GSX controls gone? Well, let's turn off the GSX integration then, and just go over here. So, request de-ice. And here they come. Alright, let's say the beginning of the de-icing is about now. In the meantime, what are we going to need? For that, let's take a look into the FAA holdover timetables. Pretty useful things. If you just Google for them, you'll find them immediately. We'll go for a fluid type 2 today and 100% concentration, please. So they are starting the process now. Let's start the timer so that we know the time of the beginning. 0634. Could actually just write it down here into the notepad as well. 063. Oh, come on. 0634. That's pretty close. That might get expensive later on. Okay, and while that's ongoing, let's go ahead and find our holdover time. Right over here. So FAA holdover time guidelines. Then let's see, hot guidelines for SAE Type 2 fluids. Let's go over here. So temperature is -3 and above, it's basically 0. And we do have some fog over here, probably freezing fog, I would say. So we did take a 100% concentration, freezing fog, 55 to 1 hour 50. Could probably have gone with a 50-50 concentration to get 15 minutes of holdover time. That would have been fine, but I kind of prefer to do it a little bit on the safe side here. You never know how long the delays are eventually going to be. Alright, de-icing in progress. Now we've just got to wait for the de-icing services to complete here. Going to take us a little while before we will finally be ready to continue that. In the meantime, we can already have a look into the procedure a little bit further, though we are probably not going to find all that much in there at the moment. So next up we are going to confirm the fluid spraying is complete, then turn the ditching push button off again, check the outflow valves opening. 1 minute after spraying, we'll turn on the engine bleeds. We don't need the APU bleeds. For those, we'd have to wait 5 minutes. And thereafter, we can then run the after start procedures. So that's basically the entire procedure. So it looks like fluid spraying is complete. So let's write down the time. That's 0637. Why did it just close my notepad? Here we go, that's the one I wanted. Okay, well. Close it, it doesn't matter. Hello? Okay, escape, that's it. Alright, so we were finished at 0637. So then, fluid spraying is complete, so let's continue. Confirm, ditching push button confirmed, and off. Then we can check that the outflow valves are indeed opening, which they are, looking good. Okay, 1 minute after fluid spraying, that's basically now. Engine bleed 1 and 2 on, so air, engine 1 bleed on, air, engine 2 bleed on. At least 5 minutes after fluid spraying, we can turn on the APU bleed, but we don't need that today. Probe window heat push button auto. Pitot and statics checked by the ground crew. Ground equipment is removed. De-icing and anti-icing report is a fluid type 2, concentration 100%. And with that, we have a holdover time of 55 minutes. So I am just going to start that chrono down here. Well, so if engine's running, ground spoilers on, rudder trim neutral, flaps conv 1 plus F, flight controls check, so full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and the rudder, full left, full right, and neutral. Okay, after start checklist. Anti-ice, engine anti-ice on. After start checklist complete. Okay, taxi SOPs resume, and that's our anti-icing procedure complete. So, we are now up here. Taxi straight out, then Whiskey, Delta, Yankee Bravo, hold short runway 15. We are clear of any of the de-icing vehicles. Park and brake off, clear left side, clear right side, and the green exit sign is on down there. Okay, so we'll taxi out of the pad, carefully and slowly. Make sure that we don't break anything now, since it is pretty narrow, as you can see. And then off to the right hand side towards runway 15. Alright, I have no updates to the takeoff briefing. So in that case, let's just get it around the corner. I really do want to take it slow, because those taxiways, they just look icy over here. I think MK Studios modeled that really nicely, that those taxiways get a little bit of that iced up look. Alright, there's runway 15 over there. That's gonna be our departure runway. So then we can already open the SID chart down here. Like that. Okay, so, before takeoff checklist down to the line, please. Flight controls. Checked. Flight instruments. Checked. Briefing. Confirmed. V1, VR, V2, and thrust rating. 134, 138, 150, and toga. Squawk. Set. Before takeoff checklist complete down to the line. Alright, so that's gonna be our departure runway on the left hand side here. Let's make sure to follow that taxiway line here, since it does look rather narrow everywhere. Okay, so we are just 4 minutes past the start of our holdover time, so we are well within the time limit. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. And before takeoff checklist below the line. So, take off runway 15 full length. Doesn't want to tick the mark. Okay, then we've just got to stop it here, please. I kind of hope we could do a rolling takeoff, but no. Okay, so takeoff runway is 15 full length. Cabin crew advised, packs off, before takeoff checklist complete. Okay, it says destination E for Penamber, but I'm happy with the fuel quantities here. That's exactly as it should be according to our flight plan. 14 tons is the minimum takeoff fuel, and we are at 14.3. But see, that's what I meant. You do use a lot of fuel if you have the anti-ice on in the A350. 700 kilos for taxi fuel. Alright, are you ready? Then, things are gonna go quick, remember that. Take off. Lights and everything are on. Perfect. Mantoga, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue. ...100 knots, checked.
V1.
Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav. Checked. So, I should get derated climb thrust now. For some reason it's not indicating it. So be it. So, will you now? Thrust declimb, climb auto thrust. Flap 0. Speed checked, flap 0. Autopilot 1. Things are just getting a little bit busy here. Alright. Let's climb to flight level 100 and after takeoff checklist to the line, please. After takeoff checklist to the line complete. So, getting rather bright outside. Let's make the displays a little bit brighter here. And we're out of the icing. Engine anti-ice off. Engine anti-ice is off. A little bit too much sun for my taste. Here we go. That's nicer, isn't it? Set standard. Standard cross-check passing flight level 50 now. Checked. Okay, and we've made it out of Helsinki. Certainly an interesting one, isn't it? When you're departing with so much raw power in your aircraft that it really starts accelerating, then you got to do all the anti-icing stuff. That's quite a lot of things going on at the same time. But hey, that's why we're trained airline pilots, isn't it? To handle all this kind of stuff. Now yes, I did forget the weather radar, but in weather conditions like these, yeah, there wouldn't be anything dangerous in there except for ice, and the weather radar doesn't detect ice, right? Okay, perfect. So with that, we're up in the air. Now, let's see about any delays we might have. According to the OFP, we arrive in Amsterdam 0855, and according to the plan 0839. Yeah, perfect. We are right on time. Now let's set the FCU up to 20,000. In the meantime, we still have the destination EFOB message. It thinks we're arriving at 4.1, but I don't really want to believe that. I really don't want to believe that. We're just waiting for the maximum to go up to flight level 430, then we can climb all the way up there. And, well, apart from that, I think everything is going pretty well. We had the fuel that we were supposed to have, so I don't see any reason to trust that fuel on board message there. Passing 10,000, lights off, signs off, and our EFIS is set. So, no more nav 8, and yeah, flight level 416 versus flight level 429. Probably gonna go to flight level 430, but let's have a quick look into the flight plan to decide on that. So, wind data, let's just take something here like Koska. And yeah, look at that, the wind is actually dying down quite a bit. So northerly, but losing so much speed. I tell you what, then we're gonna remain in flight level 400 just because the wind might be better over there. We can pay a quick visit to the init page, by the way. Wind, cruise, does it have that? Yeah, it looks like it has everything in here. Fine for me as well. Looks like the wind stays much stronger down there in 400 throughout pretty much the entire flight. Well, that's fine for me then. In that case, we'll remain in flight level 400. So now that that's decided, let's climb all the way up there. All cruise, flight level 400 blue. Well, and with that, we are on the way. So I see you again a bit later. approaching and maintaining 10,000 feet overhead RTIP, and from here we are going to get radar vectors for a right and downwind for an ILS approach onto runway 06. Looking outside, we've got beautiful weather conditions. We can close up the sun shades just now, and we can use a little bit of this time to start to discuss what we're going to do for the approach. So let me get you all into the boat. We are starting with an ILS approach onto runway 06 into Amsterdam Schiphol. Now the ILS 06 has a standard approach out of RTIP, which is what we've got in the FMS right now, but I will go ahead and change that shortly. Apart from that, it starts at Alpha Mike 609 in 2000, 3-degree glide slope, minimums 190, all of which we've got in our FMS down here. And for the arrival itself, runway 06 is the active runway. Let's go ahead and update our landing performance though, so that we absolutely know what kind of weather conditions we have. The wind is 0208, 5 degrees, QNH 1033. That has slightly changed from our approach preparations, so let's go ahead and pre-select 1033. Here we go. And that's that. Now we can do a config 3 approach today, and we will use medium auto brakes for the calculations, no reversers. Then let's go ahead and compute our landing distance, and we can see we have a stop margin of 1446 meters. In fact, I will leave our auto brake off today because runway 06 is a fairly long runway, and because we are going to vacate the runway pretty much towards the very end of it. As always, I do like to use Flight Radar 24 in order to collect my data, so just to show you what the real flight did, let's open that up real quick, and this is the real world flight. So they vacated the runway 06 over to the left on the first rapid exit taxiway. However, if we don't have any traffic behind us, we can just vacate at the end as well, which is kind of my plan. And then we are just going to taxi to the parking over here. And this one up here is parking spot Delta 43, as we can see. So that's the plan of what we are going to do today. Now, apart from that, we don't really have all that many things to do. As you can see on the safe taxi map down here, we vacate at the end. Quick taxi, just like the real world flight did. Well, and that's pretty much everything that I've got for this arrival. So let's go ahead and continue our descent down to flight level 50 for now. So that's thrust open descent on flight level 50 blue. And with all of that done, I suggest we are going to start the approach briefing. Do take a good look outside, by the way. We are going to go right over the city of Amsterdam. Looking forward to that. Also, we've passed 10,000 feet here, so lights on, signs on. EVIS control panel, well, we can go on weather radar here, whatever. There's neither terrain nor weather over here. And that's that. LS obviously will be selected. Excellent, okay, so with all of that done, let's go ahead with the arrival briefing. So we are following radar vectors, MSA 1800, and the approach will be an ILS to runway 06 with a minimum at 190 feet. Go around is radar vector climbing 2000 and extra fuel and time. Let's have a look at what we really have on board now. As you can see, 100 kilos extra. Not all that much, but I'm kinda happy with it. Overall, since the weather is that good, we basically don't even have to think about extra fuel. We can commit to landing over here. That gives us many minutes. Beautiful look down here, isn't it? But I guess we have a little bit of work to do before we can sit back and enjoy those views. Let's go to vertical speed mode over here for a moment, and then let's continue with the briefing. So it will be flight director guided ILS approach, runway 06, landing config, tell you what, 3 actually. Here we go, landing config 3. Idle reverse, no auto brakes, vacate the runway at the end. No hotspots, and I don't have any specials on non-standards. Threats? None. I like it. So that's everything we needed to do for the briefing. So we're about to enter some clouds, engine anti-ice on. And engine anti-ice is on. So extend the center line please. Out of waypoint 609, course in. That's gonna be 056. Enter and insert. So that's our extended center line here. Then let's continue the descent, going down to 2,000 feet. And we're about to pass a beam the airport in 6,250 knots, a little bit of tailwind. So we are a tiny bit on the low side here, but I want to cut into the approach, joining a 6 miles final. So basically joining the final right beam Alpha Mike 609er. So that way we rather descend a tiny bit now. Set QNH. QNH 1033 cross-check passing 5,800. Now. Checked. Okay, approach checklist please. Briefing. Confirmed. Minimum. Barrel 190. And below the line, barrel ref, QNH 1033. Approach checklist complete. I like it. So, now that we cleaned up the flight plan, it warns us about the destination fuel on board again. Well, disregard that. Let's just quickly go into the fuel and load page and change the alternate here to 0. And all of a sudden we have 22 minutes extra fuel. Easy going, isn't it? So we've just committed to land at Amsterdam, which is a fair call. The weather is excellent, so there is absolutely nothing to worry about with that. Okay, another 5 miles onto the downwind, then we turn base. The scenery is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? I still remember a couple of years back, in the time prior Microsoft Flight Simulator, when we had the NL2000 sceneries, which were photorealistic scenery, pretty much like MSFS has them, for the old Flight Simulator X and prepared. That was so cool. The Netherlands was one of my favorite countries to fly in at that time. For that very reason. Now Microsoft Flight Simulator having that all around the world is just incredible. A huge leap in technology. Okay, approach phase active. Let's make a right-hand turn, heading 320. Passing the glide slope right now, losing our speed. Let's go to vertical speed here. Speed, vertical speed minus 300.
2,500.
Checked. So, going right over that small town it seems. Sorry for that, inhabitants. Temperature +5, so I am gonna keep the anti-ice for a little bit. Okay, make that heading 330, please. So, what's the view outside? Yeah, re-entering those clouds in a few moments, so no sense to turn the engine anti-ice off for the time being. Okay, approaching the center line, make it a right-hand turn, heading 030, cleared ILS approach runway 06. Alarm 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2, glide slope localizer blue. Speed is coming down nicely. 9 miles out, so that's a pretty good combination. ILS is identified, Kilo Alpha Golf down here, Kilo Alpha Golf on the chart. And once we're level, once we are within 1 dot of the glide, I am going to extend the flaps into the first position, but look at how light we are, just at around 173 tons over here. You can see the clean speed is 180, roughly. A couple knots more, 182. So that's pretty good. Alt star, flaps 1, speed checked, flaps 1, lock star. Okay, go around is on the runway track, climbing 2,000 feet. Glass slip star, go around altitude 2,000 set. Alright, so gear down and flaps 2. Right, looks like we're clear of the clouds now. Engine anti-ice off. And flaps 3. Speed checked. Flaps 3. Landing checklists. Cabin crew. Advised. Auto thrust. Speed. Auto brake. Off. Runway condition. Dry. Landing checklist complete. Alright, here we are. Fully established. Runway is ahead. Automatics are off. Then let's do the rest ourselves. We should need something about 15% thrust or so. Tad more, it seems. Actually, quite a bit more, it seems. That's interesting.
1,000.
Checked. Yeah, the speed is correcting as we speak, so I'm considering it stabilized. Alright, so that's everything looking pretty good. I'd rather have a couple knots more than a couple knots too little. But this is looking quite good now.
$500. $400.
I just gotta love those huge highways here in the Netherlands. Wish we had some of them in that size in Germany. 5 lanes into each direction.
$100.
Checked.
200. Minimum.
Continue. Oh, entering a bit of turbulence here. Did our displays just freeze up? Yeah, our systems froze. Look at that. Okay, come on, airplane. Onto the ground with you. Manually pulling the spoilers right now. Are the reverses working? No. Okay, manual brakes. Those are working, we can feel that. Even though we can't see it in action. Okay, well here we are. That was an interesting one. And interestingly enough, our EFB still works, only the displays seem to have frozen up. Well, that's a tiny bit annoying. On the other hand side, it looks quite cool to have that up here as we're taxiing the aircraft in, isn't it? Well, let's see if we can reset them somehow. Let's just turn this off and on. Oh, well, that doesn't even work. Okay. Well, then we can't reset that. Switches over here still seem to work. Okay, I tell you what, let's just stop the aircraft here for a while. I can't seem to move the speed brake lever. Okay, can we start an APU? Yes, we can. And the flap lever is stuck as well. We can lift the guard, but that's everything we can do. Okay, well, let's go ahead and taxi to the gate. Surely going to be interesting to maneuver this one in. So, ground GSX. I'm not going to turn on the remote control right now. So, Delta Pier, heavy. Delta 43, that's it. Follow me, no thanks. Handling by, I don't care, give me Menzies. And then give me my taxi chart as well, please. Actually, I think we can go right up to the parking chart here. So we just went around that corner over here. Now the interesting question is gonna be, will we be able to shut those engines down? Well, I suppose we're gonna find out in a few moments. But let's go ahead and find those gates. Look at how quickly the airplane is accelerating here. Is the APU available? No, not yet, huh? Well, that's gonna be interesting. If the APU system is frozen as well, even though the switch still works, then shutting the aircraft down could become interesting. Alright, no slide off. Passing Delta 49. I think we're going around the corner over here, and yeah, going around that corner, and then the next one on the left is going to be our gate, 43. Yep, here it is, Delta 43. By the way, I'm really standing on the brakes here to keep the aircraft at a decent speed. I have a feeling that the thrust we had over here is actually still on. That the engines are still running at that thrust. Well, this is going to be interesting. So Airbus 350-900 is confirmed. Then let's bring it in. I'm really braking with like half pedal deflection right now. Alright, and stop. So let's see if the parking brake works. Brake set. Releasing my pedals. Yeah, it's holding. Excellent. Alright, so looks like the APU is not working. Then let's see, give me ground power please. Okay, chocks, ground power, maybe, maybe not. Okay, no ground power. Well, in that case, nothing we can do, huh? Can you hear anything? Don't think they're shutting down, huh? Oh no, they're definitely not. Alright, in that case, there's just one option left. So, engine 1, engine 2. No? Doesn't seem like it, huh? Okay, well, in that case, we can't do anything. Nope, with the engine fire switches out, that's our last option to shut it down. The only other one is to wait until all the fuel is used. Does the ECAM still work? No. Okay. Otherwise I would have loved to look up how long it's gonna run for, but... Well guys, I guess that's gonna be it for today's attempt then. Thank you very much for flying along. And well, I'm surely looking forward to your comments on this one. If you've encountered the frozen displays, I know quite a couple of you did, be sure to let me know in the comments, and let me know if you found any solution in the meantime. For now, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you liked this one. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'm really looking forward to see you all again on the next one.